Ah, hello there. I trust your journey was a safe one. Come, warm yourself by the fire. Don't worry, the hot chocolate will be ready soon. Now, if we're all sitting comfortably, then we can get to the reason why you're all here. There's a tale to be told. One that happened on a Christmas, even colder than this. So, let us begin. There was definitely no doubt that Gozaburo Kaiba was dead, despite what the virtual world arc may have you believe. This must be distinctly understood, or nothing wonderful can come of the story I'm going to relate. In life, Gozaburo actually had 2 sons, and I couldn't say rightly that either mourned his passing. Neither cried nor sulked in the slightest. They weren't happy to learn of his death, but they weren't sad about it either. Seto never painted out old Kaiba's name, mostly because it was the same as his own. There it stood, at the very top of the tallest building in Domino, Kaiba Corporation, the most well-known gaming company to ever cater almost exclusively to one fad, and still somehow make billions a year thanks to the astute leadership skills of its president and CEO. Oh, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, Seto. The cold within him froze his features, and probably accounted for that ridiculously impractically long coat he wore all year round for some reason. And this cold temperature he carried with him didn't thaw 1 degree at Christmas. It was the eve of the day, and Seto sat busy in his office. The door was open, and he could just make out his spiky-haired clerk typing away at his computer. When the clock struck 6, and not a moment beforehand, Yugimoto got to his feet and happily collected his things to prepare for the long trek home.
A Merry Christmas to you!
Bah! Humbug!
Christmas a humbug, brother? I don't know what a humbug is, but I'm sure you don't mean it.
I do.
Don't be cross, Seto.
What is Christmas but a time for financial loss? Of paying bills and finding yourself a year older, and not an hour richer. If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips would be boiled with his own pudding, and buried with a sword of revealing light through his heart.
Brother, I know you don't like Christmas, but please, leave pudding out of this. Christmas is a kind, forgiving, charitable, and pleasant time, and though it's never put a cent in my pocket, I believe that Christmas has done me good, and will do me good, and I'm glad it exists.
Yugi, pretending not to hear this conversation, blew his cover by involuntarily applauding. He caught himself suddenly, and continued his pack-up by shutting down the computer. He had only gotten so far when somebody approached his desk asking for Mr. Kaiba. The lunatic gestured towards the open office door, and into the room stepped a man that Seto was far from pleased to see.
Mr. Kaiba, at this festive season of the year, it is desirable that we should bear in mind the poor and destitute. There are many in want of common necessities, and as such, there are those of us endeavoring to raise a fund for these people. Therefore, we take it upon ourselves to ask men of your financial standing to assist by offering a small donation, in the spirit of the holiday. What shall I put you down for?
Nothing.
You wish to remain anonymous?
I wish to be left alone. I do not make merry myself at Christmas.
That much was true.
And I cannot afford to make idle people merry.
That much was not true.
I know how to treat the poor. My taxes help pay for shelters and halfway homes. If the poor are in need of food or sanctuary, they must go there, Christmas or not.
Oh no, you misunderstand. I said we were raising funds for common necessities, sir. In this case, Duel Monsters booster packs. Would you believe that 1 in 5 kids don't own any cards at all? Not even a basic polymerization.
Oh, Seto, help them!
Quiet! If they cannot afford trading cards, then they should go without.
But some would rather die.
If they would rather die, they'd better do it, and decrease the surplus population. Good afternoon.
Seeing that it was useless to pursue the point, Tristan withdrew, after which Seto turned to his clerk.
I suppose you'll want the whole day tomorrow.
If you don't mind, sir.
But I do. Christmas, family, friends, tradition. All poor excuses for picking a man's pocket every year. You ought to keep your mind on more important matters, like video games and trading cards. But as I seem to be the only one in the godforsaken town who knows this, take the day off, but be here all the earlier the next day.
I will, sir.
And Seto stormed out with his little brother in tow. Outside, Yugi headed in the opposite direction. While Seto and Mokuba walked towards one of their many fancy cars, Yugi turned up his coat against the cold breeze and took the familiar path home. After a quick meal, Seto didn't have patience to hear talk of Christmas cheer or plans for the next day, so he sent his brother on his way to bed. As he settled comfortably upon the edge of his mattress, his glance happened to rest upon a disused bell, for which there is no modern-day reason to exist in a bedroom, not now that intercoms and mobile communications are so commonplace. But if you're reading this story, then surely you must realize that this is a fandom-based retelling of a classic tale with a modern twist, and therefore ought to know that not all plot points make sense in the current setting. So ask not why Seto Kaiba had a random bell in his room. Instead, understand that it rang. Softly at first, but then it swung harder, and the noise grew louder. Seto then remembered that ghosts in haunted houses were heard to be dragging chains.
I won't believe it,
Seto declared to nobody in particular. His colour changed though when without pause it came through the heavy door and passed into the room before his eyes. It was his face, the very same, Gozaburo in his usual business attire, with one terrifying added accessory. The chain was clasped around his middle and wound about him. It was made of cash boxes and keys, padlocks and deeds, ledgers and heavy purses wrought with steel. His body was transparent, so Seto could see right through him, only in a more literal way than in life.
What do you want with me?
Much.
I don't believe in you.
Why do you doubt your senses?
Because a little thing affects them. A slight disorder of the stomach makes them cheat. There's more of a monstrous illusion than monster reborn about you, whatever you are.
Seto wasn't much in the habit for making jokes, nor did he feel frivolous in that moment. The truth is, he was trying to be smart in order to draw his attention away from the terror seeing this ghost caused him.
You would be smart to heed the warning I bring, and I raised you to no end, if not to be smart.
Those chains.
I wear the chains I forged in life. Oh, captive bound and double ironed, forever confined by the weight of my own misdeeds. No heat nor metal went into the creation of this chain. It was woven by my greed, my unkindness, by every selfish act I ever committed. You, son, wear such a chain yourself.
I see. So you came to warn me to change my ways, lest I fall victim to the same fate.
Not really. I didn't want to be here, but the plot called for it. Personally, I couldn't care less if you spent all of eternity in a hell of your own making, never to interact with another, never to engage in the joys of the world, never to play another card game.
Speak comfort to me, father.
I have none to give, only this message. You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
I think I've had rather enough of that.
Without their visit, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first ghost when the bell tolls 1.
Can't I take them all at once and have it over with?
Look to see me no more.
Good. I won't.
The ghost of Gozaburo walked backwards from him, towards the open window, and floated out upon the bleak, dark night. Seto closed the window after him, and exhausted from the incident, and not perfectly willing to admit it at all, went straight to sleep.
I am the spirit whose coming was foretold to you.